Before we launched our first innovation. Since then, we have improved tenfold. We are connecting people worldwide. We are building a better conversation and a more personal experience. We are building the future.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am blessed Abigail BACTONG, and I am here with Christian CAPUTE to discuss the three topics under Chapter 4, Information, Control, and Privacy. So these three topics are Introduction to Resources, Information as a Resource, and Information Economics. So, Introduction to Resources. According to Merriam-Webster, resources means a stock or supply of money, materials, stuff, and other assets that can be drawn on by a person or organization in order to function effectively. Organizations treat company assets such as buildings, equipment, and their manpower as important resources. Resources are the total means available to a company for increasing production of profit, including land, labor, capital, and raw materials. Without resources, organization would cease to exist. Imagine a bank without money, a manufacturing plant without forklifts, or a school without teachers. So there are two types of resources: physical resources and conceptual resources. Physical resources, they are tangible and can be easily identified. These resources usually start from acquisition and are then assembled to be available for use when needed. Examples of physical resources are the land, raw materials, and capital. Conceptual resources are non-tangible and are considered valuable for what they represent rather than their physical makeup. Money is considered a conceptual resource, as each paper bill represents a specific monetary value as opposed to the paper where it is printed. Managers use conceptual resources to manage physical resources or vice versa. Example is the use of computers in organization. A computer unit by itself may cost thousands of pesos. However, once used, the content saved in those computer units become more irreplaceable. Information as a resource, simply defined as facts about something or someone that provided or learned. Facts are considered relevant truth which have been validated and identified. Data are considered facts, therefore processed data are considered as information. Information is considered expandable. Information can be expanded without compromising its integrity. For example, is a person's personal information. Knowing his or her name, contact details, and current work may be useful. Compressible. Although expanded information can give a more detailed explanation, it may not always be needed. Example of this is in news sites. Instead of barrage of details, news sites would often give one-liner headlines that provide enough information about the news. Transportable. Information can be sent through any of the following: send via email, share via Facebook, copy onto a flash drive, upload on YouTube. Information, especially digital information, is easily transportable. Diffusive. Gossip or rumors tend to spread easily. Unfortunately, the same applies to any kind of information, be it true or not. Shareable. Since information can be easily spread, it is considered shareable as well. Information can be kept, calling it a secret. However, once a person decides to tell it to someone, then he or she will no longer have control over it. Information is considered valuable and also has a life cycle. It begins with transforming raw materials into a finished product, processing data to come up with valuable information. Information can also be available in different grades and types, and prices can be measured in monetary equivalent. Just like physical resources, managing information is just as important as managing and aiding other resources in the organization, such as people, money, and equipment.
So now, let's proceed to valuable information. The most common online search engines used today is Google. So how can we tell if the information we get in the internet is useful or not, or valuable for our research? According to Stair and Reynolds 2016, information is said to be valuable if it has the following characteristics. First, accurate. Information is error-free. Usually, it is better to trust sites that are formal in nature, like for example, Google Scholars, rather than the informal one such as blogs or forums. If you happen to observe, in some cases, inaccurate information is generated because inaccurate data was processed. So the quality of output also depends to the quality of input. An analyst called it garbage in, garbage out. Next, complete. Information contains all the important facts. If information is missing, like in the field of medicine, doctors might inadvertently give wrong medication, and this could be a disaster and might lead to death. And that's how complete information is useful in all fields. Next, economical. Information should be relatively economical to produce. With the spread of the internet, information dissemination has become easier, faster, and cheaper. However, is the price worth it for the integrity of the information? Next, reliable. In other cases, reliability depends on the source of information. The best example is the torrent sites offer pirated software, music, and movies for free. However, the resolution of the movie downloaded might not be clear and might contain malware and virus that can harm computer system. Next, flexible. Is the information can be used for different purposes? The best example is our IDs. It can be used to enter school premises and used to open bank accounts. So does the information. It is valuable if it is flexible. It can be used in your research, assignments, paperworks, etc. Next, information is said to be valuable if it is relevant. Searching for a part of computer online, Google might wish to visit us different sites. However, we should only consider those relevant information. Next, simple. The information should be simple, not overly complex. Simplicity is beauty. Sophisticated and more detailed information may not be needed because it only confused us. And if it is too complex, it will lead to inaccuracy of some details. Next, timely. Timely information is delivered when it is needed. Example of this is weather predictions, stock markets, and forecast. Next, verifiable. This means that information can be for correctness and authenticity. With the readers, for us to verify the content if it is authentic or not, we usually look at the author's references, bibliography, or citations. So thus, to verify if the information is authentic, we check it before we make it as a reference. Next, accessible. Information should be easily accessible by authorized users. So, in the case of GCash, PayMaya, they can be used for day-to-day transactions. And only those authorized users have the access. And next, secure. It should be secure from access by unauthorized users. Mobile Pay like Samsung Pay and Apple Pay use biometric authentication like fingerprint before transaction is made in order to ensure that only the user or the owner can use the app for payment. So let's proceed to the value of information. Valuable information helps managers make good decisions, which is why valuable or useful information is called knowledge. Information is considered valuable mainly for business purposes as business depends on it to produce quality products and services. It is true that people are willing to pay for information, like subscriptions for cable TV, more specifically Netflix. With business gearing towards IT automation, the strategy is to come up with business activities that shorten time frames while increasing productivity. Like for example, Food Panda. Just one click away and your order is at your doorstep. Information as a resource has four characteristics: zero marginal cost, non-rivalrous, non-exclusive, and no transparency. Zero marginal cost is the cost of producing the first copy of information may be substantial, but the cost of producing another copy is negligible. Non-rivalrous. Simultaneous consumption of information by consumers is possible. Non-exclusive. If information is known, it is difficult to exclude others from its use. It is more evident on social media. And last but not the least, no transparency. To evaluate the transparency of information, information must be known, so one has to invest in learning how to evaluate it. Like for example, in evaluating financial statements, one cannot evaluate it without proper understanding or the knowledge about the certain information. So information economics. In today's economy, what provides value is the information of the asset than the asset alone. In economics, good is considered to be an experienced good if consumers must experience it to value it. That's why company give us free samples, testimonials, promotional video, advertising, etc. With information, organizations cannot give the full experience to customers as this could mean lost interest afterwards. What do it mean, lost interest afterwards? So this mean that when you give the full information to the users or to the audience, it could be a lost. Why? Because they already know what will happen. They already know what to be expected. So better to give them just a glimpse of the experience for them to be excited to watch your movie or to be excited to taste your products, to taste the food that you offer to them. And that's why how information used in economics. And there are three strategies about that. First is the browsing previews. branding, and reputation. So, browsing previews. Example strategy is the movie trailers. This gives us the glimpse of what film is all about. That's why movie industry is booming because di natin alam na sa ginagawa nilang techniques na binibigyan lang tayo ng trailers, 1 to 2 minutes na video, it catches our attention. That's why we used to watch the movie afterwards. That's one of their strategies. And that is browsing previews. So next, branding. Why Microsoft and Apple have no issue when it comes to launching new products? Because people have already established their trust on these brands. Because these brands are proven and tested over time that it is reliable, it is unique, and it gives users a different kind of uh, technology. So next is reputation. If new movie is announced, we might be skeptical if it is good enough or not. However, the actors and actresses, directors, writers remove this skepticism. Transformers directed by Michael Bay, then we can conclude that this movie might be good because it is a Michael Bay film. This reputation made this movie a blockbuster one. So that's it. That's the strategies used in economics, just to catch the attention of the users, the audience, or the customers. In general, people value an organization's ability to make their lives easier and better by trying to using information about their products and operations. So that's it. And before we end up, let me leave you a quote. Everybody gets so much information all day long that they lose their common sense.